Hello everyone, my name is David Westcott and we'll be talking about case number 6 for Business 343 in this final presentation. We'll start off with the introduction. The introduction of this case that I decided to choose is on Winn-Dixie and based on impasse of collective bargaining as well as getting along with unions and the company. The problem that is happening right now is the union wants to have some different issues addressed to the company, including vacationing cost or vacation, time for vacation, also pensions, as well as wage raises. And so we'll be talking about a couple of these things throughout the presentation. We'll be moving on to our next slide. Which is our case position. My case position is agreeing with the company. I felt through reading this case analysis is that the company has done every single thing that they could to be able to satisfy the employees, the labor union that is involved in the company, as well as making sure that they're still a profitable business and that through what they're doing, they can still be profitable through the wage raises. One of the first things that we have to look at is the company doing what they are set out to do? One is make money, 2 is being profitable, and 3 is treating the employees with dignity, certainty for wage raises, and that's what they're doing. We'll be moving on to our next slide, which is the case study main points. We'll be talking about proposed proposals, company position to the proposals, communication between company and union, the grounds of impasse, and agreements. We're moving on to the next slide. The case content. This case has a couple of main points that I found really intriguing while reading the case analysis. The company has recently expired their contract with the union on wages and anything revolved around wages. The company submitted a proposal, a wage proposal, that said that they would raise the wages from 56 to 81 cents on the dollar. The union rejected the offer and said that they would not accept the offer unless they threw in pensions, vacation, and hospitalization. In short, no bargaining has happened. The company cannot do that. They said it's not profitable for them and they cannot do it financially to throw all of this in. But at the end, the company still went through the process of raising the wages because they felt that that was the right thing to do, and the union called for impasse on collective bargaining. We'll move into our next slide, which is proposed proposals. In the company side of things, there were only a couple of proposals made. Not unlike the union, but the company proposed to agree to raise wages for all employees across the board, as well as to raising the wages from 56 to 81 cents on the dollar. They also agreed to it months later when the union decided that they did not want to have any parts of it unless they agreed to other terms. Moving on to the proposed proposals for union. In this case, there was also many proposals made by the union, really more than what the company had proposed. The union, before the case study, acquired to raise in the wages. The union responded on May 6th saying that they reject the offer. The union rejected the offer again when the company said that they still wanted to do it. And the union called for impasse because the company kind of wouldn't agree with what they were saying and what they wanted to pass to the company. So the union would agree to the wages if the company would agree to what they wanted. Moving to our next slide. Communication. Communication is an important asset to Winn-Dixie. In Volta Chiranga explains, who is one of my references, that it's important to keep openness inside your business of your company to keep not only the associates involved, but to make sure that they feel involved in making a difference. In addition to keeping an open door policy, Winn-Dixie as well as other companies see that it is important to keep their associates in the know when they're having labor problems. Maybe you can get with your IT department in order to change some of these things to keep the associates more involved and more notified on what's going on. Moving to our next slide, communication continued. Keenan Safo, the Center of Technology and Economic Development, explains that it is important to work with your IT department in explaining and figuring out ways to get information out on a quicker basis as things are coming in through the company and through the union. The Harvard Review also says by Beach and Columbon that it is also important for members of both union and the company to remain cordial in the process for the people and the betterment of the people. I personally think that the company has been very respondent in this episode of this case analysis and that they have done everything that they could. Moving on to our next slide. Grounds of impasse. Impasse is a scenario that is considered when Winn-Dixie went through the submission regardless of what the union had to say, and they raised the wages anyways. The labor union works with the employees. Winn-Dixie sees this as a false negotiation and states that it is bad faith on their part for bargaining the deal and not to negotiate with them on it. Cornell University Industrial and Labor Relations Handbook states that the term impasse means to deadlock in good faith negotiation where one party engages in bad faith. Moving on to our next slide. Impasse continued. We see in an article from University of California that the restate in their article of impasse from Public Employment Relations that states that by law, if the corporation of any form cannot agree on matters, that eventually the company will have to pass something for the sake of business and doing business, and especially for the employees. In my opinion, no form of impasse has happened because the employees are really your first respondent to this. Moving on to our next slide, agreements. The agreements have not taken place since a month ago on a new resolution in the collective bargaining. Bobson College professor explains that statistically agreements are more likely not to happen after the first month of no resolution. In addition, it should be also known that all agreements are solved within the people and the people come first. It is important for the people who are a part of the unions to inherit liaisons that find someone who will agree on a causable ground with reasonability. In my personal opinion, I think that it is important for them to do this. You have to do this. My plan of action would be, 1, consult with God. 2, hold town hall meetings to be able to inform the employees better. Also introduce research of financial stability of employees under higher wages. Hold an open questionnaire meeting inside the facility to help facilitate more ideas and communication. And also meet with union leaders as much as possible and sit down at the table to agree and leave some leeway, which each one is coming out with something. I appreciate your cooperation for listening to my presentation, and I hope everyone has a blessed semester. Thank you.